Good morning, Ramon. It's Holden, Ramon. Let's get you going here. Up to lock. I guess up to lock means that your bets are locked and you're not going to be cashing out of them anytime soon. You shouldn't anyways. Ramon, myself, we're going to go through all the games in the 1 and 4 o'clock slates today. Talk about the movement, give a couple thoughts on the game. Ramon, good to see you, pal. I really did think you went to the F1 last night, but after party, but you said you didn't. But were you one of the guys, because they were going to give you a ticket in Las Vegas last night if you just stood on the street and looked at the Grand Prix? Were you one of the guys that went down the escalator, up the escalator, so you didn't get a ticket? Is that what you did?
No, of course, I sat in the comfort of my satellite studios here, but shame on all those Las Vegans who are down on Formula One. I mean, come on, this is a world-class event, and it's awesome. Forget about it. I know they have their little inconveniences, but I think it's pretty cool. They've already established that it's obviously one of the best stops after just 2 seasons. I think that's clear with F1. What they've said. So screw those guys that don't like F1. I like it, and I'm glad it's here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, 100%, man. Well, we got a lot of football to talk about.
And have the phone there going up the escalator.
Is that what you're doing? And then selling your stuff to TMZ so everybody could see it? I like that. I think
it was on Stringer. They said, go out to Formula One. We'll give you $50. I said, I'll just bet the race here and take Hamilton to beat the Ferraris.
Oh, boy. Well, let's talk some football, pal, because it's already week 12. We're just a few days away, 4 days away, 5 days away from Thanksgiving. That's going to be a great time. What is Ramon doing for Thanksgiving, by the way?
You watch football, and then you eat dinner while watching football.
Beautiful.
That's, it is important here. Thanksgiving means football. And, also it means if you're practicing in high school football, if you're practicing on Thanksgiving, that's a good thing.
Here we go. Bucks, Giants. This thing was sitting at 6, went to 6.5, went back to 6. I mean, it's just moving a little bit of a half point in favor of the Buccaneers here. 6.5 is the line now. And the total sitting at 40.5. Tommy Danny DeVito is going to be the quarterback today. This total obviously coming down about 2 points because Daniel Jones is out. I mean, is Daniel Jones really worth 2 more points to a line than DeVito? No. But here's where we are, Ramon. What do we got on game 1 today?
Yeah, and where will Jones, will we find out the great experiment, Holden, about we always talk about these quarterbacks, where they end up if he ends up on the Niners and all of a sudden is at least serviceable. Well, you got to start to point fingers then at your organization, the Giants, not yours, but you know what I mean. So anyways, how is it going to turn around here for the Giants with DeVito? It was a nice story, obviously, last year coming in there for his few games that he did, and I guess he split them, so that's fine. But again, it's a big downgrade. Even if we want to make fun of Daniel Jones, it's a huge downgrade, and I don't expect the Giants to be able to do much here against the Buccaneers. Mike Evans comes back for the Bucs. That's pretty big here, obviously, and that's also part of the move. I don't know. We already knew that Jones was on the way out, so I think the move has more to do with public consensus here for the most part with the Buccaneers. It still feels tough to lay it, but I don't want any part of the Giants. I'll instead maybe go with the under here. You talked about the move here this week. It's gone down, obviously, about 2.5 points, maybe even more from some of the openers, but definitely the move here. It feels like gradual this week. Tickets appear to be on the over, but the move to the under, that's usually a sign, Holden.
I mean, it's moving down, and this game has got some wind too, 15-mile-an-hour winds. That's when you start seeing a little bit of a difference there in production. But
especially in this stadium.
You know what, though? They did do a pretty good job of kind of limiting the impact of that. And I did a lot of research on this, Ramon, so I'm just telling you here that they did a decent job, but it's still 15 miles an hour. So, gusts, here's the issue. Gusts in the 30s. So that's where it really starts to affect it, because no stadium is going to be able to take out 30-mile-an-hour gusts. And I think that could be a big reason why this thing's fallen too. A lot of
Well,
running.
I'm on the under. Series history is kind of an over trend with these two teams, but I think it's pretty infrequent, even though they're conference foes. So, yeah, I'm going to be going under here in this one. Again, real problems for the Giants, no doubt, and maybe Tracy will have to be their man. They'll have to have some running game here because, look, I liked the story. I like the DeVito story. I like Stiletto. Okay, I like his agent, but it's a big downgrade. Even if he did have some success, people might be referring to that success last year. I don't think he's going to duplicate it at all, especially the way this team's going.
Tracy, White, Bucky Irving. These could be the three guys that really get the bump today, and DeVito can run too. Like button would be great. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Nuke the House. And don't forget, if you haven't already, we have a 1-week free trial for you. If you want to dip your toe in the water, Nuke November, N-U-K-E November. One word, Nuke November. Go to nukethehouse.com, click subscribe, any plan. We won't charge you unless you want to be charged at the end of the week. Nuke November is the code. Okay, so we don't have too much movement here. I've seen 7 move to 7.5 at FanDuel. We got 7.5 going down to 7 at DraftKings. The game being the Lions at the Colts. No weather here because we got a dome. 50.5 is the total. I mean, that hook is big, isn't it? That hook is big in this one, Ramon.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. And if you have to pick a flat spot, right? Because, great team, Detroit right now. If you figure this group, we've talked about every week, the group of elite teams right now in the NFC and how it's going to shake down. But if you had to have 1 weak spot here, it feels like, in a Colts team that gets the money at home, no doubt about it, Richardson, look, you got to have somebody out there. He's doing an okay job, but I think, you've seen the development of Downs. His targets are looking good, and you have a solid running game with the Colts certainly here. So it feels to me like the dead spot, if you will, the week off. Yeah, maybe they'll still get it done. Maybe they won't. Maybe an upset is in the cards. I think if you play this game with the Colts, you got to sprinkle with this one, right? The Colts have not been awful. They've been pretty good. And the Lions, while they have blown out dismal teams, I think the Colts could qualify here as a team that's still fighting a little bit, figuring they might have I don't know if it's a chance or a hope here at this point at 5-6, given the way things are going. But seems like the Colts are kind of in this position quite frequently, and I'm okay still with Richardson. I'm not going to back down from his development here moving forward. I just think it will be okay. It's going to take some time and a lot of work, but again, I think limiting the mistakes, he has the athleticism to make those big plays, and like I said, Downs is outstanding. I think it's the third time I've mentioned him on with you, so he's still totally underrated and overlooked, it feels like, by most of the pundits.
I just want to see how consistent he can be under Richardson. I mean, it's a deep threat. Richardson has a cannon. Can he be consistent just like Flacco was consistent with him as well? Okay. One team that's kind of been inconsistent is the Houston Texans. They host the Tennessee Titans today. Here's another guy you want to look at, a wide receiver, Calvin Ridley. I mean, him, Nick Westbrook-Ikine. There's two guys that our guy is looking at, Will Levis, and it's those two, Westbrook-Ikine, Calvin Ridley. This game is in Texas or in Houston today. 7.5, 8 is the side in favor of the Texans. 40.5. Not a big total here, Ramon. I don't have too much on this game. I don't have anything bet in this game. I don't have much DFS in this game. Calvin Ridley's the one guy I should probably be on, but I'm not. What do you got?
Yeah, I think people are going to shy away from this game in fantasy just because of the strong defenses. Look, the one thing about Tennessee, terrible record. They've had an awful season. They're not going anywhere. Somehow they're number 2 in defensive yardage allowed. They're top 5 in defensive yards per play. So Tennessee's done a real nice job, 2nd overall in yardage. So they have a defense. They just have had trouble getting it going, is what it feels like. And for me, Will Anderson returns here for Houston. This feels like the most uncomfortable favorite spot that I'm going to roll with today. I'm going to try the Texans here. A little bit worried here, especially if that hook is on there. Probably want to buy it down for sure and lay the juice. But again, laying big points with a Texans team that really is kind of allergic to covering the spread. They're kind of a win and get it done, but having trouble getting these numbers. But again, Tennessee offense has been woeful. They haven't been able to take advantage of really what has been an outstanding season defensively. Or 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams have gone under. And I think what will happen here is Houston will lead the game and they'll be the one with the late score. I think that will push it over. But the problem here is, Holden, when you lay in a touchdown and the total's going low and what's going to be probably a low-scoring game between 2 top 5 defenses, it makes it really tough to lay a touchdown. So I'm shaky on this one, but I'm on the Texans here.
Shout out to Tommy in the chat. Anybody else want to drop their best plays of the day? Got any questions for Ramon? Let's hear it out. Today in Landover, Maryland, where Dallas is visiting the Washington Commanders, probably 60-40 Commanders fans to the Cowboys fans, tons of Cowboys fans, always in Washington for these games. Goes back to long history. I'll tell you about it another time. Total here is 44.5. I saw Washington laying 11 at one point this week. I'm seeing here that it dropped to 9.5. Now it's 10.5. So it's been a little bit all over the place. Looks like it's holding steady now at 10.5 just about everywhere as far as the major books, Ramon. So, I mean, if the Cowboys fans want to get in on this thing, maybe you wait live if you want to get a better number, but 10.5 is what you're going to have to live with right now.
You're probably talking about old Cowboy Ray. He'd go to the games waving his chain and the Hogs. And it's just lost some of the magic with the name change really over the nowadays. But that's okay. It's still Washington and Dallas. So I'm okay with that. But yeah, Holden, I mean, for me here, this is just such a terrible situation still for Dallas. And if you're going to have this type of talent, it seems like when this type of team starts to lose momentum, that's why we're seeing them on the blowout end, right? You'd rather have a young, hungry, aggressive team that's trying to learn and grow than a team that maybe we'll just cash our paychecks and get out of this season and then move on to whatever we're going to do next year, or however Jur's going to run it next year. So I'm going to end up laying the points. I'll lay it here with the Commanders, double digits. Not a great situation at all with wanting to do that, but I just think the Cowboys are dead. You get this special game, this still a rivalry game, make no mistake here. And to me, this looks like the most overwhelming of sharp action, actually, with the Commanders. So, sometimes it can be better to lay double digits sometimes if you're seeing the line kind of hold steady and not seeing that take back necessarily on the dog here, right? It's up from 9.5, 10 on those openers, still hanging out 10.5 or 11s here right now. I'm okay with that. So I'll take the Commanders here in a blowout. And maybe there's a little bit of due factor for Daniels here. He hasn't been great overall, and this would be the team that he should be able to do it against. And I think Robinson, I don't know what you have on the props, but I'd be interested in hearing about Robinson here today.
Yeah, those numbers just went up way too high, and we're on a lot in that game already, player prop wise. I don't, and I'll get it for you right now. Let me go look it up. He was in the high 60s. Yeah. He was in the high 60s earlier this week. Yeah, he's up to 74.5 at FanDuel rushing, 75.5 at Bet Online. So this thing has been bet way up. I saw 69.5, and now you're paying 5 more yards later in the week. So Ramon, I think it's dead at this point, unless you want her to wait in game or pay the heavy tax on the yards there. Like button would be great. We'd love that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I know Ramon always hanging out in the chat. Love seeing Ramon in there. NBA live show with the NHL live show Wednesday nights. He's hanging out with us a little bit.
I'm coming on. Don't worry. Let's just get through the NFL season. I'll join you guys for some hoop.
Yeah, I'd love to.
With Foxy. I mean, I miss Fox. We were streaming when streaming wasn't cool.
You and Foxy were hanging out, huh?
Yeah, back in the day with Keg. I mean, I started off in Keg Chat. That's how I got.
What?
That's how I kind of got in the game here a little bit pre-pandemic, hanging out in Keg Chat. We were doing shows, I remember, with some NFL. So, it's been around. And I don't know, Keg looks better than he did, 6 or 7 years ago, and I looked like twice as old.
Let's keep going here. Ramon. Vikings, Bears. I mean, this is a rivalry game here. I kind of think the line set perfectly at 3, if you ask me. Everybody's down on the Bears. I could see the Bears pulling this one out. I know it touched 3.5 at a couple of books. Actually, it was 3.5 at FanDuel for a while and then dropped down to 3. 39.5 is the total. So talk to me here, because this is a good Bears secondary, horrible coaching. And Sam Darnold, he's been fine, but he's starting to come back down to earth with these turnovers and another couple interceptions today. I think the Bears could totally win this game. What's going on here with Minnesota and Chicago, pal?
It feels like the job that the Bears can do on Jefferson, right? If Jefferson gets off, it feels like they're going to go away. My chat was this morning on my show was on the Bears, and I didn't want to break the news to him, so I pivoted to the total under, but because I wanted the Vikings and I didn't want to disappoint my chat. So I just ended up betting the Vikings here this week and used them in the contests for sure. The contest had I believe may have had a 3 on it too, but no, I'd prefer to still roll with the Vikings here, maybe to keep, maybe get a little bit division game here. Maybe that's why the Bears could be piquing your interest here a little bit. It seems like professional cappers are kind of split on this one too. Anytime you're getting points at home as a division dog, that's something to certainly look at here. But it just feels like this Bears situation is bad. I'm okay with Williams. I'm okay with him moving forward, but for whatever reason, this Bears situation and Eberflus has been under the heat here, obviously, this week and maybe for several weeks now. And home dog actually isn't great for Eberflus. It hasn't been a good role for him. He's definitely sub 500 in that role. So I'm going to actually lay it here with the Vikings, maybe to kind of wake up a little bit here. Again, they've already won a couple they're on a winning streak. We kind of overlooked them a little bit. We still want to put them in the top tier, though, don't we, of the NFC because of where they stand?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move right into our next one. Chiefs not great at covering, especially not big numbers. They're going on the road, though. They face a horrible Panthers team. Now, Kansas City minus 10.5, minus 11, depending on where you want to look. Maybe the luckiest team in the NFL at this point, because this is a team that could easily have 3 losses. 11 at DraftKings, 10.5 point favorites at FanDuel. So right in that sweet spot right now, Ramon, 42.5, 43 is the total. This got bet up just a little bit. Actually, it's more from the look ahead line, but I'm seeing 41.5 up to 43. Again, I've seen some people that are taking the Panthers plus 11. Not something I want to invest in. And outside of Travis Kelce, again, not something I want to invest in today. Do have a little bet, but outside of that, one player prop, not messing with it. How about you?
I'll try the dog just because, the Chiefs seem to win, but not by margin, right? Mm-hmm. And if anything, I think this one to me kind of, maybe Young's been a little bit more confident here of late. Good for them. I'm glad that the Panthers can kind of wake up here. They obviously are a high point of the season for me right now, the Panthers with this winning streak. And I don't think against an elite team that could overlook a situation like this, I think I'd rather take the team that has having their best moments of the season here right now. They've taken their lumps a little bit for sure. They suck. We know that, but still take the points here. It just feels like the Chiefs do just enough to get it done here right now. A little concerned about the depth of the Chiefs receiving core. I mean, we see Juju getting involved now. The veterans, if you will, that they've come to rely on. Sure, Worthy here. We'd like to see a little bit more out of Worthy moving forward. I think if we're going to really take him to the next level, I mean, we know the talent is there and everything here, but you just see how they're having to rely a little bit more on some of the veterans here in the receiving core. And, funny when Kelce finally scored that touchdown for the first time since last season, a few weeks ago. So again, they're just doing enough to get it done. Look, they're doing great. There's no problem with the Chiefs moving forward, but we have more important games on tap, and we just want to get out of here with a win. So Panthers have looked nice. They've done well these last 2 weeks. I'll take them.
I don't blame you. We'll take them, man. We didn't do the Patriots and the Dolphins. Patriots 7.5 point dogs. So this thing has gone from 7 to 7.5. Drake May's looked a lot better. Do want to caution you, if you're betting Drake May rushing props, like a million people seem to do every week for the last month, if it's in the mid 20s or lower, like 25.5, he's hitting that. You get up to 30, it's just not hitting. Nuke the props this week. Told you about Tyreek Hill. I'm all over Tyreek. I think he crushes. I think that Jonnu could have a good day. Waddle could have a good day. Achane could have a good day. So maybe I just should have bet some Tua props too, but I'm not going to bother now this close to game time. Again, Dolphins 7.5-point favorites, just, everywhere I'm seeing 45.5 total. So maybe some sharp money coming in on Miami. Is that what you're seeing or no?
Well, look, my chat went against me in this one too. They were all over the Dolphins. And of course, I get it, right? I mean, don't forget, this is November after all. And that's when the Miami Dolphins have been doing their best work over the last couple of seasons. Mm-hmm. Hill's back. He scored touchdowns in 2 games in a row here right now. So they are starting to click. But yeah, I'm okay with the storyline. And if anyone talks about the main storyline, it feels like it is Drake May and ability that he's shown here in the last few games, all season, really. His development. So he's been strong here. Miami owns the series, though. Holden 7-1 last 8, 8-0 against the spread in the last 8 games. So I will say this: the second meeting of the two teams, the last 3 seasons, have gone over. And one interesting trend I saw here was AFC home favorites of 7 or more that win and cover and come back the next week and are 7-point favorites or more again the next week are 10-1 to the over in the last 11 occurrences, and AFC home favorites of 7 or more with a Thursday game on deck if they're coming off of a spread win is 21-3 to the over. So I think this one probably go over. The first one was 34-19 was the score last week. Miami over the Raiders, kind of a similar opponent there. So I think I'm going to go doubled up here. I gave out the Patriots on my show, and the chat shot me down big time and went with Miami. So maybe I should go with my over feel in this one. Maybe I'll tease it. Can I play a teaser here on this show?
Sure, play what you want, buddy. We don't care. Right, you're an expert.
Yeah, right through that key number on the side, I'll take no, I'm going to take Patriots on the tease. I'm going to tease them up here to 14 or whatever, and I'll take over 39 or so. That's what I'm doing.
Did you say that Tyreek had a touchdown in how many straight weeks?
2 straight weeks, right? 2 straight games.
Well, if I liked him to get to 100 anyways, why would I not bet 100 and a touchdown?
I see where you're going with that.
Yeah. I mean, if that's the only thing I still haven't hit yet, would be his touchdown prop. So let's go see what that is right now. Alt receiving yards for boy, that 100 is not a great number. It is not a great number, but you know what? Let's check it out, dude. Let's see what we can get.
I'm an unabashed McDaniels fan. I like the guy. I know everyone wants to make fun and get down on this guy. If he got fired tomorrow, there'd be a dozen teams ready to take a chance on him as their next coach. So, but it was just pretty funny what he was doing with Max Crosby there on that highlight last week when he got him to jump off sides. He's kind of worrying about the wrong thing. So just coach the game, coach.
All right, we continue. We got the 3 afternoon games, just 3. Another rookie quarterback, Bo Nix. Broncos visiting the Raiders. The Raiders had their number for about 3 years. Finally got off the schneid with Sean Payton last year. This is a 5.5-point spread. I have not seen any movement. You tell me if I'm wrong. Another mediocre total at best. Went from 40.5 earlier in the week. I'm seeing 41s, 41.5s. The Raiders are an absolute disaster. We're going to find out if Bo Nix, though, can go on the road here and have another big performance. If there's one thing, and I know that the Raiders defense has underperformed this year, but if there's one thing I think the Raiders can do is hang with the Broncos, especially if they can force the rookie into some mistakes. The coaching advantage is just, it's like from here to Jupiter. It's gigantic. It's infinite almost. Peyton versus Pierce, one of the top 5 coaches in the league against maybe the worst coach in the league. Talk to me, buddy. Broncos, Raiders, 5.5, 41.5.
And I've been rolling with the Broncos a lot this season. I mean, they're one of the teams that I've been kind of riding here this season. And Knicks, it just keeps getting better and better and better. And of course, I think that his age has something to do with that, not to mention his college experience and a ton of it, obviously being successful. But remember, he came in the league as one of the older rookies for sure, maybe the oldest, I think, out of the group. But I think that's really what's helped him too, and having that coaching there as well. But yeah, what a funny series history with these two, because they both have sucked over the last several years, but the Raiders, for some reason, what is it? They had won 8 or so in a row before the Denver won 34-18 in that first meeting. So Turner comes in, he's doing the coaching now with this offense here. So again, Bowers has looked great. I think Myers is underrated for sure. Jacoby Myers, if he had a quarterback right now, look, Uncle Rico, this is the solution here right now. Raiders need to fix that before they get going, but they've got hope with these guys, it feels like. So they're going to have to rely on that defense. We already know that Denver, is certainly top 3, I would say, defensively, allowing just 18 touchdowns so far this season. Also, how about this one, though, Holden? You love Peyton. Peyton, 10-1 against the spread off of an 18-point or more victory. He did all that work with his previous stint, but still, that's his way, right? When the team is going good, they seem to get it good. So I'm gonna have to lay this with Denver. It's you're paying a tax here right now for what's going on, because there's a lot of talk about Bo Nix and this improved offense here right now. So tax me up with the Broncos here. I think the Raiders are gonna have trouble scoring in this one.
All right, Ramon, like button would be great. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Nuke the House. We only got 2.5 minutes, so let's roll through these last 2 games. Arizona at the Seahawks. I know a lot of people on the over in this game. A lot of people here at Nuke the House love player props to the over in this game. Very tight spread. Cardinals leading the division, 1.5 point favorites on the road. 46.5 is the total here. What do you think of the total, Ramon?
Well, I might be opposite you guys here a little bit. I might think that the total's getting a little high. Not that these two teams won't produce, but I like the Cardinals in this game, and I think that it's hard to say the Cardinals defense is not getting attention it deserves. They've done an okay job for what they've been up against. It's still a tough division, it feels like, in this division, even with all these mediocre records right now. But I'm really happy with this progression of Arizona right now. They're going to be my pick in the game. I know we're going quick here. I'll take Arizona here. Love Murray. Hey, he's 1 week he's testing out pizzas in Manhattan, and the next he's saving the Cardinals here, going to maybe threaten for a division title.
Hey now, 44.5 is the total in Green Bay today. This line has gone from 2.5 to 5.5 to 6 to 6.5. You can find 6s out there at MGM. You can find 6.5s everywhere else. But this has everything to do with the injury to Brock Purdy. Bosa's out. This Niners team has been a walking mash unit all year long. The Packers are still pissed about last year. Give you the Packers?
Yeah, I think Packers here. We've already seen the Niners when they're challenged with their roster a little bit through the injuries. They've already suffered a significant loss this year, similar to this one, when they felt like the momentum was totally with the other team. So I think the Bosa injuries key there to, as we call them now, Megatron. And Megatron, right? So no, Green Bay, I got them in a blowout here. This one, runaway spread certainly here, and I'll just lay it. We'll get out of here.
Well, hey, I love it, man. I love working with you on Sunday mornings. It's kind of fun, buddy. Thank you for the time once again. Plug your stuff, and then I'll run upstairs and start watching these games.
Yeah, we'd finish earlier if I didn't have so many trying to be funny quips along the way. But
I love
that's what I do on my show too, on the Mornings Team. Check me out over at Sports Money on YouTube. Sports Money Network is what we're calling it, and I do a show there every day. 7 days a week, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. We preview most every game on the betting board, or at least the biggest games on those heavy cards. And we also very interactive, Holden. the theory of the show is I give my picks and information, but it's all about the chat. We put all their picks on the screen. And with the consensus, you can win money over there. Join me over there. We have a drawing at the end of the show, and you get a 14 parlay. Today, there are the Bears, the Dolphins, the Texans, and the Eagles for my contestant today, Justin, one of my regulars. He's on the line there with that parlay. He can win. You can. All right,
buddy. Good to see you, Ramon. Thanks for everybody for watching this show. Nice crowd today. We'll hit the like button on the way out. Again, you want to try us out for the week? NukeTheHouse.com. Nuke November is the code. For Ramon, I'm Holden. Guess what's coming up later on tonight, too? Well, our premium 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock slates. And then, hey, Keg said it. Until we get to 2,100 YouTube subscribers, we're 3 away. We're doing shows behind a paywall. So Sunday Night Football right now behind the paywall. Ramon, you're awesome. I'm Holden. Nuke the House.